Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGME Cast for your Monday night. Monday night is ANZCAR truck night, and we are back here tonight with a run on the Super Speedway, joined by, as always, Carl with the good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody. Yes, we are here at Nashville Super Speedway, ready to get the race running underway up here in our cozy broadcast booth with our lovely view that we have up here. It should be a good one tonight. I'm looking forward to this race.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 100 laps here at Nashville. And, it is going to be a boot scooting affair. And I can tell you, we've got a fairly popular track this one. We've got a almost full grid here, 41 trucks in the server as we just count down the last minutes before practice concludes, and yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a competitive one.
Yeah, it really is going to be, and it's a track that's going to be an interesting one tonight. Obviously, concrete surface is pretty fast. It's a bit of a different track, and the trucks are a bit tight out there, I can say from a bit of experience, so that's going to make things a little bit interesting. But before we get into all of that, of course, we should probably look at the championship standings. So currently, as we see down there, there's Scotty Griffiths and I think that was Mr. Michael Skurlock there, just having a little bit of a park and maybe a bit of a barbecue out the back of the truck. Jason Martin leads the championship, a good 49 points ahead of Dave Douglas in second. Third place is Danny G, 54 points off the lead. Fourth place is Maddie Ray, 56 points down. Fifth is Josh Micklemore, 69 points down. Sixth is Stevie Dub, 73 off the lead. Seventh is Andrew Dyson, 78 off the lead. Eighth is Aidan Schultz, 80 points down. Ninth is Scotty Griffiths, 84 points down. And Riley Curtis sits in 10th, 90 off the lead.
Probably not a mixture at the top there that I would have thought at the start of the season, to be honest. I'm not certainly not poo-pooing fellow commentator Dave Douglas by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pleasing to see him up there challenging Jason Martin for this title. Of course, as we just said, Josh Micklemore there, give us a preview to what might happen if there is a car stuck in the middle of the track. We've got 3 races to go, including this one, to conclude this third season of 2021. So that gap is, you won't want it to get any wider because it's already going to be challenging enough to close down. But a good, again, we say it again, this is probably the 5th time we've said it this year, Carl. Consistent performances is what gets you into that position at the end of the championship. So, and we see a car parked up on the wall there. But that's what Dave Douglas has delivered.
Yeah, that's it. Good consistency throughout the year. I mean, obviously, there's still 2 drop rounds to come into effect tonight, to come into effect for the championship as well. So those haven't been added into the truck series yet. So there are still some drop rounds to be put in there. So the championship is not over for sure. But Jason Martin's done an amazing job this season. Just absolutely, out of 9 starts this season, he's had 8 top 10 finishes, 2 wins, 7 of those 8 were top 5 finishes. In fact, he's been on absolute fire. Like, he has been up top. But Dave Douglas having a really good run as well, in the top 10 6 times this season. 4 of those top 5 finishes, and of course a win. So yes, he's going to be hoping to have some good performance here tonight, and maybe to see Jason Martin maybe have a little bit of a poor form tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to need some luck, isn't it? Jason Martin and poor form in the trucks are not two sentences that you stretch together, or string together even, so he's going to have to hope probably for a little bit of bad luck, or to outdrive him. But either way, Dave Douglas needs to make sure he finishes above the purple 21 Mitch Motorsport entry that we have become so familiar with having on the screen up the top of the field. Stevie Dub there just flashes by. He's another one who could challenge here. He had a good run out last week. Luke Trahere also a good run out last week. Andrew Dyson. So there's plenty of people who can challenge here. Of course, you mentioned the Welsh wizard, Michael Skurlock. He could challenge. So there's plenty of drivers who could upset the apple cart here. The assassin Danny G's running tonight as well. So, it's going to be an interesting one. We've got a couple of new drivers in as well in this full field. I noticed JCW not there. He jumped into the chat, and it's a pity not to see you running JCW, but good to see it tuning in. Brad Allison's quite capable. he's back running again in the series. So it's going to be another interesting run in the trucks for sure.
Yeah, look, that's it. I mean, look, another couple of new drivers in the standings in the racing. It's good to see. Wade Sheedy, a new face to the series that I can't recall seeing before, having a really good run out there at the moment in practice. So, yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute packed field tonight. Nicholas Timors as well. Again, another new face out there as well. And, we've had 61 different drivers as of before tonight, let's say, compete in the truck series. That just shows how many people are actually going out there, and a lot of them have been multiple competitors, multiple time entrants as well. There are a couple of single entries, but a lot of people have been doing more than the one run, so it's great to see. And it's just nice to see so many new faces out there, because as we say all the time, new faces means we get a bit of new blood to the series and it keeps it running.
Yeah, Wade Sheedy, I think, as I mentioned before, so he's jumped in a 312, so have a quick look at his livery on screen. He's in the Chevy, and he's currently 11th in practice, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the field. But of course, this is what this series is for. It is the introduction, as Douglas goes fastest. It is the introduction to ANZCAR. And it's where drivers can learn their craft. That's not to say it's forgiving, it's highly competitive, but it is where people come to learn the way that ANZCAR series are run, and it's welcoming in that respect.
Yeah, that's it. Look, both the trucks and the Xfinity is a good way to get started. The trucks are a little bit different, of course, because you've got they're a very different style of race car, but they're a good way to learn your craft. They're a very slightly different vehicle to drive than the Xfinity. The Xfinity is probably a little bit closer to the Cup car if you're looking to get into that, but the truck series is a fantastic way to learn your craft and learn oval racing as well, because that's the big thing, is actually learning the trade of oval racing is one of the harder things, because it's very easy to stuff up, very easy to make mistakes, and you see it every night. You see some of the best drivers out there making the odd mistake, and when they're making mistakes, it's easy for anybody to make a mistake. And racing against some of these guys as well, you get a good marker on your pace.
Yeah, definitely so. And being a fixed setup, of course, makes it a little bit more welcoming as well. So, but as we mentioned, this is the last season for this year, Carl. I'm getting a little bit teary. But, 3 rounds to go. I do enjoy the trucks. They give us some fantastic racing, as we've seen throughout the 3 seasons so far this year. Remember, 4 wide in instances crossing the start-finish line. So it's been a really good run, and I think tonight won't be any difference. Of course, we'll get you to walk us through or talk us through a lap of Nashville in a couple of minutes' time when we jump on board with qualifying. Who in the early bit before we get to qualifying, who are you keeping an eye out on tonight? If someone's new to the stream, who are they looking out for?
Look, I think Josh Micklemore's is due for a good run tonight. I mean, a lot of bad luck recently for Micklemore. Andrew Dyson has been on an absolute charge as well, so watch out for Dyso tonight. And of course, you can't discount Jason Martin. You'd be a fool to say that Martin wouldn't be one to watch, but Dyson is definitely one of those drivers that is really pushing his way up through the pack and showing what he's made of, especially on the oval aspect side. We know Dyson's quick on the road courses, we know he can turn a car on a track, but on the ovals he's been improving every single week and learning every single week as well, starting off in the sort of more feeder categories and starting off in the trucks and the Xfinity and moving his way up to the Cup Series. He's just been learning like a sponge and absorbing all the information, so he just goes fastest.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, it again just shows you there's a number of different drivers who might get through here if it is the first time. Of course, solo qualifying is the way it's run. That's coming up very shortly. So we'll have a look at that and see how the drivers get around. Of course, as usual, our week starts here, as everyone's week does, generally on a Monday. That's how the weeks work. But we are back tomorrow night. We've got the Osprey Sim Series from Monza for the first Enduro of Season 5 of Monza. It's round 4. And then we're back on Wednesday night with the Xfinity Series. That's coming to you from Kansas. And then the Cup is almost done as well, with the Cup heading to Kansas as well. So that's a Texas.
Xfinity was booked to be somewhere else. Xfinity is not at Kansas because it was at Kansas last week.
Martinsville then.
That's it.
Martinsville, and sorry, the Cup is at Kansas. So the couple of broadcasts there, of course, coming up 7:20 tomorrow night and 7:45 for the remainder of the week, with the third last instalment as well of the driver interviews in the Cup series that Carl has been putting together for the channel as well. Who have we got this week, Carl?
Well, we have got Taylor Swift fan. So
interesting.
Yeah. that answers the question. If you don't know, then Mr. Gallagher, of course, Mr. Hamish Gallagher. So the number 13, 13 points difference in the Xfinity Championship, I believe. So it's kind of all falling out for the 13 at the moment. There's lots of 13s around that car, so interesting little stat there. But we are in the trucks tonight, so let us get ready for a lap here of Nashville Super Speedway.
On board with Troy Davison tonight, one of the Sim Boys entries, so we'll jump on board with Troy and let him show us the way around this track.
Yeah, so as you can see, concrete surface, so can be a bit abrasive on the tyres. The track is that classic tri-oval, so you've got that big egg shape over here. Going into the first corner, you can take a lot more speed through this section. The corner opens out. Little dab of the brake if you've got a lot of front brake bias just to get the nose turned in. Lot of room on the exit. So you can get a lot of speed on the exit of that corner. Turns 3 and 4 do tighten up a little bit. You have to be a little bit more cautious through here. Lifting off just in the midsection of the corner for Troy. Getting on the power a little bit later because the wall juts out a little bit here. And then you're going to duck down nice and low on the fast lap to try and cut the track as tight as possible to get the fastest lap as you can. It's relatively shallow banking here at Nashville. It's not the sort of super high banking that we're used to at some other tracks. I don't actually have my banking at hand, but it is not as high as some of the other tracks. But as I said, that concrete surface will chew up the tyres quite quickly, especially if you're quite tough into these corners. You do get a lot of tyre scrub, and that will really wear the right rear out of the truck and cause that to drop off. And the left front as well does take a bit of a pounding.
There you go, so the lap there of Nashville Super Speedway. And tyres are definitely going to be a factor here tonight, as they always are. Carl, a little bit of notice if we can have a bit of an idea about the fuel numbers for tonight as well. That would be fantastic when you might be able to find that out. We'll jump on
14
board.
degrees. Sorry, 14 degrees of banking. There we go. Sorry, I could not find that anywhere on my notes, and I finally found it.
So it's certainly not ridiculous, but
no.
Enough.
It's still quite high. I mean, on an oval track, that's not super high, but if you were to stand out there, you certainly would notice it.
Just having a bit of a cycle through at the top here. Luke Trahere has just knocked off Dave Douglas for pole. Andrew Dyson's just gone shy of those two gentlemen, and Steve Williams is currently sitting in 4th. Jason Martin is out on track now. He is on his outlap, so let's stick with him and have a look how he gets on. Mickey Skurlock's out there now, as well as Josh Mickelmore. So Danny G yet to settle out. Matty Ray, of course, the master of not setting a lap and producing a result at the moment, not out of pit lane either. So there's a few to run, but let's stick with Jason Martin. We'd expect him to be quick here. So if he can knock off the 30.54 that Luke Trahere put out.
One thing I've noticed is McMartin's not quite being so settled here tonight in practice. Just going round and watching some of the cars. I sort of was driving a little bit in the practice session in the solo mode that you can do.
Oh, when he's hit the wall.
And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Is Skurlock's just done exactly the same thing as well, coming out of turn number 4.
Josh Mickelmore may have done the same thing as well.
As I said, it tightens up as you're going through turn 3 and 4. You've got to be careful of that because it's very easy to give that wall a little bit of a tap. And a lot of the drivers, and as I said, Jason Martin was one of them, just didn't seem quite comfortable out there tonight, was just struggling a little bit. So we'll see if that affects him during the race. Meanwhile, Danny G is out on his fast lap, seeing what he can do now. Let's see how this one goes. Hopefully he's not going to get the same curse of the turn 4 little knock. Gets down nice and low, just gives the apron a little bit of a nibble. He's going to get very close to the wall, but it's going to have a nice bit of gap there. Gets down nice and low to cut the track as low as possible. That should be a relatively good time for Danny G. Gets him up into 14th position. Will this second lap be any faster?
Seems to be second. Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag actually between second and first lap being fastest for the drivers.
Meanwhile, Jason Martin, I said he was struggling. He's managed to pop it up on pole position. So Jason Martin struggling as ever, just with the one lap, of course, for Jason. He manages to do it. First time out of the bag, just absolutely pulls that one from nowhere. As I said, he was struggling all night long in practice, struggled on that first lap in qualifying, and then decided, nope, I've had enough of this, I'm just going to go fast.
Whatever I'm doing wrong, I'll just change. I'll just go flat out. Alrighty, so we're about to get into the race proper, just waiting for the grid to come up on screen here. If you haven't already and you're liking or watching and liking what you're seeing, of course, very early on in things, do give us a follow if you can. That'd be fantastic. Share it if you like. If you think that one of your friends might be interested in watching what we're doing, and certainly turn on that notification button if you can, so that you can be aware of when we're going live and doing what we like doing each week. So that would all help us. But let's quickly get the grid up on screen now and go through this. And we are here at Nashville Super Speedway for round 11 of the ANZCAR Truck Series on FGM eCast, and it is Jason Martin who has taken out pole position here ahead of Luke Traher. Then it's Dave Douglas and Andrew Dyson off row 2 with Stephen Williams and Wade Sheedy off row 3. Then it's Cade Donnelly and Ruben Phelps off 4 with Mike Schroeder and Aidan Schultz off 5. Followed by Brad Allison and Lachlan Urquio off row 6. As we flip over the page, it's Jason Brazier, and we've got Paul Jackson off 7 with Danny G and Josh Mickelmore off 8. Then it's Simon Heddersheed and Aaron Hayden off row 9 with Matt Hunter and Christopher Finlay off 10. Then Riley Curtis and Troy Davison start off row 11 with Scotty Griffiths and Norm Clark off row 12. Then Ben Vickers and Glenn McLeod start on row 13 with Gary Wellman and Tristan Cog off 14th. Then it's Nicholas Timoris in his first start off row 15 with Philip Howe next to him. Then Luke Georgeson and Igor Burkick off 16 with Mickey Skurlock and Matty Ray off 17. Mirko Dortnack and Brent Hobbs off 18. As we get through this huge field, Mr. Jamie Budd and Michael Shaw off 19 with Mick Taylor and Noddy Tompkins off 20 and Justin Howe starting at the rear of the field in 41st position for this one. It is going to be a big one.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely packed field, a lot of talented drivers out there after dark. I'm going to hope for another good finish tonight and hope to get their trucks up in the top 10 again. They've had some good results as of late, and as usual, their cheerleaders are out there in force. So Aaron Hayden and Luke Georgeson will be hoping to get a good one tonight. Yeah, indeed they will. So let's see how we get on here at the start. It's a matter of keeping it clean. We've got 100 laps here tonight, so there is no need to do anything silly early on. It is going to be a battle of attrition. Somewhat you feel at some stage is going to be the big one, as there always is. Jason Martin getting us away. There's plenty of experience at the front of this field. So let's see how we get on here as this one is about to go green. And it will be Jason Martin who will lead us away. Luke Traher alongside him. When will he go? And the answer is now. He has gone and got it underway. He's got a gripping start. Jason Martin, as always happens with our pole sitter. And Luke Traher just next to Dave Douglas. There's a little bit of smoke in the background, but it looks like everyone's getting through.
down onto that low line. Andrew Dyson putting the pressure on Lucha Hare early here as they've created a little bit of a gap back to Stephen Williams. And then it is Wade Sheedy and Kate Donnelly 2 by 2, with in fact 3 wide. Aiden Schultz there trying to force the issue, but figures that pulling back is probably going to help his race out long term. He's got his teammate Ruben Phelps with him. It's a long race in front of us here as Trahare's under pressure from Andrew Dyson. And 2 by 2 with Donnelly and Wade Sheedy early on as we close out lap 1.
Yeah, meanwhile, Luke Trahare's got that low line at the moment, managing to hold on to that, keep Andrew Dyson just behind him up front. Jason Martin has managed to pull away a little bit from Dave Douglas. Not much of a gap, but it is a little bit of a gap. Meanwhile, behind him, Stevie Dubb's got a nice singular spot. He's not having to fight. Wade Sheedy and Kate Donnelly are battling side by side at the moment. Little tiny kiss of the trucks there. That's going to give Aiden Schultz the opportunity to get a little bit of a run here. Decides to just ease off a little bit, rolls off the accelerator. Really good job from the Aussie team to get their trucks in similar positions. Him up there with Ruben Phelps at the moment, so getting both their trucks in the same picture. That's going to be made the advertisers nice and happy. But a lot of battles going on throughout the field. We've got a good battle going on a little bit further down between Norman Clark and Nicholas Tremors, who's just making the inside line work with Luke Georgeson just behind him. So quite a few little fights going on throughout the field at the moment. Josh Micklemore as well, trying to work his way up the field with Danny G. They're just trying to work their way a little bit higher, but it's not the easiest place to pass sometimes, especially early in the stint. You don't want to start rubbing your tyres up too hard. You don't want to overheat the tyres too quickly. If those tyres get too hot, you're going to start struggling very quick here at Nashville.
And Troy Davison has got Aaron Hayden on his outside as they follow in now behind Matty Hunter in that low line. So everyone just sort of jostling a little bit early here. You can see how congested it is further back throughout the field. Carl, I want to touch on that difficult to pass thing in the context of the decision for people to not qualifying in a little bit, so we'll come back to that. But at the moment, Troy Davison, it looks like he's making good progress. He's up 3 positions already. Jamie Budd with that back a little bit further, up 5 positions. He's got Michael Skurlock trying to press a point as well. Mickey Skurlock so far not having made any positions, but we know that the Welsh Wizard will wave his wand and make his way up this field. Mirko Dortnack up 5 positions as well. Mirko had a good run last week, wrecked late with Tristan Crockett, another one of the Azare Esports entries, just putting pressure on the back of Norman Clark. A little bit further up, as you mentioned, we've got Danny G, Josh Micklemore now just out in a little bit of space. So they're now in progress of trying to chase down Paul Jackson and break into that top 10.
Aiden Schultz making a bit of a move on Wade Sheedy. Yeah, a bit of a tricky track to pass on in the early stages when everybody's got good tyres. You just have to wait for people to start wearing out their tyres a little bit, start getting a little bit of heat in them. And if you can keep your tyres a little bit smoother, then you can take a slightly tighter line where they'll start rubbing up the track a little bit and you can start pressing those moves. Of course, you can also punish yourself by taking that tight line by causing your tyres to get a little bit hot. So you just got to be careful. You just got to try and wait a little bit. Wait for the race to settle down before you start making those moves. Once everything's settled down a little bit and those tyres have always plateaued, that's when you can start looking to put the attack on. The first 4 to 5 laps, generally the tyres are sort of getting up to temperature and they get into a nice position where they're really fast and racy. But they then plateau to a point where they don't really lose much speed or gain much speed, but they can get very hot very quick. And if you can force that driver in front of you to overheat their tyres, you can then make that move and make it quite easily.
It'll be interesting to watch how that plays out then for the guys that decided not to qualify. They're going to have to be very, very patient here tonight to make their way up to the front of the field. Also plays well for someone like Lucha Hare, who is, by self-confession, a longer stint specialist. So we've got our first caution. Looks like Michael Skurlock's been involved in an incident down towards the rear of the field. So let's jump back and have a quick look at that lap 9 of 100.
Yeah, so it looks like between Skurlock and
66 of Philip Powell. Looks like he's just come down on him, and then he's gone back up. That's not going to do well there. Mickey, that truck looks like it's had a fair bit of damage, unfortunately. Might be night over.
Quite a bit of damage there, and just a little bit of netcode involved in that one as well, by the looks of it, because it looked like Skurlock had a little bit of room, but then the netcode came into it, and that's what's caused it. Howes managed to just about keep it, but then unfortunately Skurlock's got pinged up the track and got caught by Igor Burkic, and that was that for Skurly.
9 laps in, our first caution. We see some of the lower order come through here, Carl, you reckon?
Sorry?
Some of the lower order drivers come through here, would you think? Jason Martin is going to... No, he is going to go in, so it's going to be up the front. Dave Douglas realises that he needs to get a reel on so he doesn't lose a big gap to Martin while he runs in. And in fact, Andrew Dyson and Steve Williams, the only two staying out of our top 26 drivers so far, looking like most of the fields. That may just be to grab a lap in the lead, grab a bonus point, but they're deciding not to stop in.
Yeah, that could be disastrous for Stevie Dubb and Daiso, actually. The tyres will be much, much faster. The fresh tyres will be much faster than theirs. Somebody having a bit of a moment in the pit lane.
Just heard that.
As it is Paul Jackson in the Aotearoa Racing. Kind of just missed his pit box and has had to do a bit of a Austin Powers moment in that one, just to get that one in there. And I think maybe Lachlan Urquhart and Brad Allison maybe have had a little bit of contact as well in pit lane. So, as always, carnage in pit lane when you've got 40 odd cars coming into pit lane. It does make things a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to see your pit hoarding, let alone anything else. So what I was saying before, Stevie Dubb and Daiso are really going to have to try and block their way to keep the cars behind them, because they are going to lose an enormous amount of pace here on old tyres. So you sort of the tyres are pretty good for the first 5 laps. You got really good speed out of them, and then they do drop off a little bit after that. So you will find if Daiso and Williams can keep the other guys behind them, they might be in a position where they can actually get a okay result from this one. But I have the feeling that Jason Martin and Luke Trahell will be past them relatively quickly with those much fresher tyres. It might take them a lap or two just to get them to temperature, but I think they'll just have a bit more grip and they will swamp the front. Of course, waiting to be proven wrong. We'll see what happens with that one, but my gut feeling is that maybe Daiso and Williams have made a bit of a mistake with this one. Yeah, and of course, the other thing as well, just to mention with the truck series, of course, is there's no tyre limit. No tyre limit, that's what I was about to say. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure of the mindset. It may be thinking that because their teammates at the front, that they might be able to work together to effectively, motivate the tyre degradation a little bit for the drivers behind them. But with the whole field coming through, it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Of course, Stevie Dubb, a former champion of this series, so certainly no stranger to the truck. And Andrew Dyson, I feel like saying that he's an up and comer is probably being a little bit. I don't know.
It's a multiple race winner.
I was going to say, it just feels wrong saying that, but he's only been doing it. He's only been in the ANZCAR series since the end of his second year.
Yeah. So, experienced hand in the world of motorsport, newcomer to oval racing, but has taken to it like a fish to water. So very much has got the knack of it very quickly, and of course having a good team around you does help that out too. DPR, of course, a lot of experienced racers in that team to help you out, so that makes a big difference as well.
I was going to say that mature head on young shoulders is probably the best way of putting it together, I guess.
That's it. A mature beard on young shoulders. That is Andrew Dyson. That describes him very well. Of course, Daiso having the most victories of anyone in the Cup Series at the moment with 7. So having a fantastic year over there. Not quite in it for the Chase Championship, but he has had a fantastic season nonetheless. So the pace truck will be coming in this lap. We'll see how Daiso and Williams go on this restart. Of course, their biggest concern is going to be spinning up the tyres. With only doing 12 laps or so, it's not going to be too much of a concern. They've just got to get away quickly. Of course, their tyres will come to temperature nice and quick, so they will have a slight advantage at the opening lap the opening couple of corners. But then I reckon they're going to get swallowed up by those cars on the fresh tyres, come around about turns 3 or 4, or maybe the next lap. We'll soon see those guys taking a slightly different line. You can see Jason Martin already down the inside of Stevie Dubb, just able to use those fresher tyres to his advantage. Williams is going to start falling back very quickly. He's starting to fall back behind Luke Trahair already. And watch as Jason Martin's going to try and come up to him. The tyres, once they come up to temperature around about the second lap, once they get past the turns 3 and 4, they're going to go flying. And look at Jason Martin getting the exit speed right here. He's able to take a much lower line off the corner, able to take advantage of that fresh tyre, and absolutely blitz his way past Dyson, almost like he is standing still. Luke Trahair as well is able to take that much tighter line and just get underneath Dyson. So what Dyson and Williams need to do now is just keep into a position where they don't fall back too much, so that they can be there when the tyres start to plateau a little bit.
Yeah, Douglas just a little bit before getting into Cade Donnelly, or they're two coming together on the restart there. It doesn't look like there was any damage. Really, it just closes with 3 wide behind them, with Wade Sheedy in the middle of Aidan Schultz and Ruben Phelps. So this will hurt a little bit, and he's just got up now and next to Cade Donnelly there 2 by 2. There's the Phoenix Smokers Simrigs.com Team DPR entries just holding Douglas up. He will be wanting to make his way through. You can see, wow, it's getting close. Oh, down on there, inside there. Who was that in the background? Looks like, was it Jay Brazier who got up into the wall?
Simon Hedersheed there. Simon Hedersheed got knocked down onto the low line, managed to save that somehow, and brilliant save. Got up into Matty Hunter a little bit, but a fantastic job of keeping that truck in a position. Just got a little bit of a tap from Danny G, I think it was. Jay Brazier went into the back of Matty Hunter as well, so a little bit of a check up there. Matty Hunter managed to save that truck as best as he can. Quite a bit of damage to the front right, but Hedersheed barely anything on there, just a little bit of a tap to the rear. Really good job of saving that vehicle. That would have been their caution for sure.
There's still a bit of a cork in the bottle here. Stevie Dubb on that high line. Phelps trying to get through underneath. Andrew Dyson's down there as well. Phelps now pulls down underneath. He's going to try and get the drive out of the corner if he can. The 312 of Wade Sheedy would have wanted to go with him, but he's stuck up in there now. So no, Dyson gets down onto the low line. So battle continues. Up at the front, Jason Martin has taken the lead of the race with Luke Trahair, Dave Douglas. Now that is your lead 3, and they are breaking away. So these guys need to do something before they spend the tyre life trying to get past the 2 DPRs. It's 3 wide again.
Look at that beautiful driving from Sheedy, just up against the wall there. Dyso just left enough room to fit a singular truck by, and Sheedy just absolutely took advantage of that one. Fantastic job. Brad Allison as well up there in the 0-3. Good job from Allison tonight, getting a nice run as well, just up behind Sheedy at the moment. Going to get underneath him and try and make up another spot. Those fresh tyres really, really helping out. Obviously, those older tyres, you can see the difference between those older tyres. They're just so much trickier to keep. You're not able to choose your lines quite as much. But they should start plateauing. Around about now is where they should start plateauing a little bit. So you should see a little bit less speed differences. Oh, Brad Allison just gets caught by Sheedy. Around he goes, big accident. And I think the rest of the field has managed to... No, the rest of the field has not managed to avoid it. A few trucks caught up in that one. A big secondary accident there, as somebody got caught.
I think Stevie Dubb got caught.
Yeah,
out.
Stevie Dubb very much got caught up there. Stevie Dubb just got caught by Brad Allison, spun him around, and then unfortunately Simon Hedersheed did not get lucky this time round. Sent Stevie Dubb into helicopter mode. He took to the air and held his brakes as much as possible, but when there's a car in the air, there's not much you can do by holding the brakes, unfortunately. Scotty Griffiths as well getting caught up in big time in that one. Absolutely, his engine is toast, so Scotty Griffiths is going to be out tonight as well. Sort of a couple of secondary accidents happening there. and Scotty Griffiths got through the rest of the wreck okay, but then unfortunately, as Wade Sheedy was just sort of coming to a stop, he got caught into by Scotty Griffiths. So yeah, big accident there. There's a lot of trucks caught up in that one.
Just watching on board here with Schultz, he did really well, got down on the grass but managed to hold it all together just to avoid the incident. And once again, you see the whole field come in this time. You certainly wouldn't imagine that Andrew Dyson will stay out there again. He actually did well enough to manage P6 out of all of that. Unfortunately, his teammate there getting caught up in that, Stephen Williams, so he unfortunately will have to get some stuff done.
A lot of quick trucks got caught up in that, unfortunately, so that's going to take a lot of big names out, and yeah, they're going to have to come in for some repairs. I think we're going to see the trucks that stayed out coming in next time round. They're just sticking it out there just to come into a slightly cleaner pit lane, possibly. Schroeder, Jackson and Howe. So they'll probably come in next time round. Or they may try something a bit different and stick it out and see what they can do. But as we saw last time round, the speed difference with the tyres is huge. So it's probably... It's worth a punt if you're way down the order, like they were. It could be worth a punt just in case there's another caution relatively quickly and you can keep the truck up there. But you're going to be putting yourself at a lot of risk because you've got to do a lot of defending, and it's very easy to struggle when there's trucks on very fresh tyres around you. You've got to be very careful with that battling.
Dave Douglas managed to jump Jason Martin in the pits as well with a much shorter pit time, so I don't know if he only changed a couple of tyres there or if he didn't take on any fuel, but
fuel doesn't make too much difference. It's the tyres that are the big thing. So I'm just going back to have a little bit of a look to see if he just changed the rights, which wouldn't be too bad an idea because it's just the right side that takes the damage here. The left front does get a little bit mauled up. No, Dave just took the one set, so Double D just taking the right side only. So that's a relatively good idea because especially with that shorter lap time, with that shorter time out on track, there's not much point taking all four because the left side aren't going to get too much damage to them. So so they're taking a little bit of a gamble by taking the right side only, but being that it's only done a couple of laps and it's not, degradation is relatively high here, but it's not to a point where it's going to be after 10 laps that your left side are going to be absolutely destroyed. It's probably a smart gamble.
Yeah, well, Gamble, Schroeder, Jackson and Howe all doing that. They're going to have this entire... Sorry, I was going to say they're going to have this entire field coming at them again. We saw how that played out for Daiso and for Stephen Williams. So this is a big gamble at the front of the field. See how that plays out. Of course, again, Douglas and Martin and Lake won't want to spend too much time as yeah, they're just getting a little bit high in the line. I'm not sure what happened there.
Alright, so Michael Schroeder's going to...
Running into Dave Douglas under pace car, anyway.
I think just maybe a little bit of lapse of concentration there. Didn't make contact, but yeah, was just sitting up a little bit high, and Dave Douglas just had to make a little bit of a move, and it caught Luke Trahere out a little bit as well, a little bit of a check-up, so a couple of little bits of moments there. But Michael Schroeder will be leading away in the duck egg blue car, so we'll see how this one goes.
I'm sure it's not spray green or another sort of tranquil colour.
We won't get into colours.
We won't get back into that. I'm not going back to the Dulux today.
No. But on the outside, Paul Jackson. So away we go, and Schroeder drops it nice and early as away like a whippet with dynamite up its bum. Gets a good start straight away. Paul Jackson struggling a little bit. Dave Douglas in the middle is going to go free wide with Howe on the inside. It's a sandwich as Douglas gets tapped by Howe. There's a little bit of contact. Dave Douglas manages to save it. What a save by Douglas. That's going to cost Jason Martin as he got caught up behind them. So that's going to be good news for the Aussie team. They're going to slide up there with Luke Trahair. They're going to gain a few positions. Josh Micklemore making up a few spots on the inside line as well. So that paid off very well for that inside line. Not so much for Dave Douglas and the outside.
Well, Douglas is already making his way back up though. He's jumped in behind Andrew Dyson here, so it could have been a lot worse. He's still in front of Jason Martin, his championship rival. There's contact there as well with the 52 of Aiden Schultz. He's gone around, and there is a huge check up here.
Jason Martin taking the brunt of that one.
Massive amount of damage.
That is a lot of trucks taken out there. That is the majority of the Lachlan Urquio, Nicholas Tremors, Finley, Philip Howe obviously got relatively unscathed in that one, just because he sort of bounced out of the way. A lot of trucks so caught up in that one, and it just gets worse as you go down the field, pretty much from the whole back end. It's a lot of vehicles caught up in that one and bouncing off walls. There are barely any trucks without any damage on them. The Mitch team got really hammered with that one. I'd say probably have a look on board with maybe with Luke Georgeson, I think. It was one of the After Dark cars. Or maybe Aaron Hayden, I think. He managed to pretty much get through that one relatively unscathed. So he had got a good view of that one. But here we can see Jason Martin. He sees the incident coming, tries to turn down from it, but turns in a little bit too much, gets tagged from the outside, gets tagged with his teammate as well. A lot of trucks getting caught up in that one. That was a big one. Obviously, Nashville Super Speedway, not the kind of super speedway we're used to seeing, but the big ones still happen when it's a super speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you who did get lucky was Tristan Cock. Let's jump back on board with him and have a look. I think Jason Martin actually got contacted there in the checkup. From what he with Tristan Cock. You can just see everything unfolding in front. Jason Martin on the left there. Got his teammate Aiden Schultz in his entry on the right, and he just gets under the Mirko Dornak there and just manages to make his way through, and as a consequence jumps 18 spots up into P10.
That's probably going to be the threading of the needle of the night there. Hopefully we're not going to see too many more incidents like that, but that was a very good driving from Tristan, just to avoid that incident, because that was just millimeters between looking like a hero and becoming a zero.
Yeah, so Michael Schroeder will want to... No, he's not. He's got to jump into pit lane here. You feel?
Well, they're sticking it out there, so a lot of trucks are sticking it out right now, because a lot of trucks are in there from damage. They only did barely a lap on those tyres, so those tyres have not taken any damage at all, so there's not much point coming in. You're not going to make it on fuel from here, so you're just going to possibly lose yourself positions if nobody else comes in. So sticking it out is probably the best option. What were we talking about at the start of this broadcast, Stuart?
Yes, we were.
For championship conditions.
Yes, we were.
Dave Douglas needs a good night, and Jason Martin needs a bad night. And well, that incident has hurt Jason Martin, but importantly, he's still on the lead lap. So it's not game over at all for Martin. He can very much work his way up from here. Quite a bit of damage to that truck. The 21 has seen better days, but it's still looking pretty pristine. And speaking of pristine, the 83 at the moment is looking relatively shiny, as is come to be expected after a few incidents of Matty Ray. He's managed to avoid most of the big impacts, and Matty Ray sitting up in 19th position, 15 gained. Not the most positions gained at the moment, but has been working his way steadily up through the field.
That's this man, Mr. Jamie Budd, on screen, up 25 positions. A little bit of damage to the back of the 180, but unlikely to most people to get away scot-free with all the checkups that would have happened as a result of those last two cautions. Quite decent incidents. So I was just quickly having a look at Jason Martin, and provided there isn't too much damage to the front of that truck, it's all just in the rear from the checkup where he got hit. I reckon he's still going to probably have a little bit of an opportunity here to bridge the gap. Dave Douglas with that extraordinary save, doing some drifting in prime conditions, so he's still up the front in the 199, but plenty of fast trucks around him. I'm very concerned about the restart here again, with the older tyres, the 66 of Philip Howe, just struggling on the restart a lot, and that didn't cause a check-up as such, but you could see people had the desire to get by him quickly, and the tap there was the start of the pile-up. So certainly no fault at all of Phil Howe's, but the slower cars just holding up the pack a little bit. People getting a bit edgy to get by.
Yeah, that's it. This is where you start to get a little bit nervous, of course, and when there's been so many cautions so quickly, you've just got to be a little bit cautious as well. Just got to get settled into the routine. Pace truck comes in. Schroeder drops the loud pedal now, gets a good start. Very little wheel spin, gets away nicely, and they are back underway here at Nashville Super Speedway for the ANZCAR trucks. Ruben Phelps trying to work his way up through the field. He's right behind Luke Traher at the moment. Those two working their way past Paul Jackson, who is of course on the slightly older tyres, about 10 laps between those two, and you can see Ruben Phelps just pushing Luke Traher along at the moment. A little bit of bump drafting there between the two of them. Andrew Dyson working his way nicely up through there, as well as Dave Douglas. So Dyson just getting caught up a little bit behind Jackson. That's going to cost him a little bit of time right here, and now he's going to slide down underneath him. Luke Traher moving up to stop Dyso getting in front of him at the moment, and he's going to try and make a move on Schroeder. Can't quite do it right now, but should get the exit on these tyres. Will get better exit on the low line. Luke Traher now side by side with Michael Schroeder for the leader of this race. The 43 taking on the 263, and the 43 is going to make it. The 06 trying to make it through, as well as Ruben Phelps. The Way Down sponsored After Dark racing car leads the race of Luke Traher at the moment, with Ruben Phelps hot on his tail. Michael Schroeder doing a good job of keeping that truck up there on the slightly older tyres. Remember, only 20 odd laps done on those tyres, but the other trucks around him have only done 10.
Yeah, Dave Douglas trying to come through here with Andrew Dyson as well to make their way past the 263. So he's just going to hold down there, and he's going to get the job done. Dyson looks to slide down and get the job to go with him. Not going to quite get it done this time around, but Dyson might be able to get it done next lap. As you see him here, pull down onto that low line. Dave Douglas right down on that apron. Dyson looking to get through. Should get it done here.
Schroeder taking a really high line, and that's going to start affecting the tyres a little bit. He's going to start getting a little bit of tyre temperature in there, and that's going to cause him to wash out through turns 3 and 4. Watch Schroeder just run that high line, and he's going to lose speed on the exit. Just as that truck's going to get really tight on the exit, he's going to have to ease off a little bit more, and that's going to drop him down behind Dyson as they get to the end of the straight. He's going to have to just be careful to watch those tyre temperatures, not to get them too high. Watch out for Ben Vickers as well, the 70,007 Juice digital car, working its way nicely through the field at the moment, just in front of Tristan Koch. And Norman Clark as well, having a good run in the 09 Matari car, up inside the top 10 at the moment, just sitting behind, trying to catch up to Tristan.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Ben Vickers, just slowly moved his way up the field, 77, sitting in 7th, up 18 positions, so a good run for Ben Vickers here as well as Tristan Koch as well, 20 positions gained. So Jamie Budd still the biggest gainer of the night at 26 positions, sitting in 11th position, with Georgeson in 12th just behind him. So they are getting the benefit of these cautions and running with it.
Meanwhile, up the front, Phelps is putting the pressure on Traher a little bit, but now Traher's just managing to get a little bit away, so the front pack are just pulling away a bit from Dave Douglas as well, so if they don't fight with each other too much, they can start pulling away a little bit, make some gap as, Howe and Allison get a little bit of contact. They managed to save the trucks. Wellman almost gets involved in that. Glenn McLeod just getting lucky to avoid that in the Sender Esports truck as well. A little bit of contact there a bit further down the field, but they've managed to straighten it out and get back on action. Just have to take a little bit of a breath, just get back into driving. Just try not to get too caught up into that one. Get your heart rate down and get back to racing.
Yeah, just run the rhythm. that they need to try and do it, because it gets hard when it gets interrupted by the cautions. But down the bar, as they say, get to work. 39 through 100 here, there's still plenty of time to make some gains.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things you've got to do in racing sometimes, is just keep it calm and keep it relaxed, as you're not going to win a race in the early stages, but you can lose it very quickly. So you just got to be a little bit careful sometimes, and a few of the drivers have taken a few risks that were probably not worth it that early in the race, and that's caused some issues, and that caused some of those cautions, of course. But the drivers that were taking it a little bit easier and just not taking as many risks are now reaping the rewards.
Yeah, sometimes just a little bit of luck as well to avoid the contact. Just having a look back here at Jason Martin as he's starting to put some pressure on Riley Curtis. So keep an eye on his progress back up through the field. There's a few position changes going on. Josh Wickermore just getting past Glenn McLeod. So he's making his way up. Mike Schroeder battling away with Paul Jackson and Ben Vickers.
Yeah, because, Norman Clark, that's a big snap of oversteer going into the corner, manages to save it. That tail was hanging out for a long time, and he's managed to save it, but Norman Clark's going to have those rear tyres nice and hot now, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful just to let those tyres cool down a little bit. Jamie Budd's going to start putting some pressure on him. Just that little bit of snap oversteer, and that can cost you for about 2 to 3 laps, as those tyres just need to settle down a little bit. When they get too hot, it can really hurt you out. Tristan Cock, meanwhile, sitting on the back of Ben Vickers and Michael Schroeder, trying to get past there. Ben Vickers is going up on the high side, trying to get around Schroeder, using those little bit fresher tyres to make the advantage. Can't quite do it this time round, and that's going to give Tristan Cox the opportunity to possibly take it free wide here. Maybe try to look down the inside line, see what he can do. As they battle, though, it's going to be helping out Paul Jackson in the Tora Racing car with that lovely, slightly greenish tinge to it tonight. Of course, we're used to seeing it with the lovely bright orange, but greenish tinge tonight for the trucks. But good job from Paul Jackson tonight as well to work his way up there. Dave Douglas not really got the speed to keep up with Ruben Phelps and Luke Trahere at the moment. He's got Andrew Dyson on his back, but Dyso can't seem to do anything about it either. So a little bit of damage to Dave Douglas, and Dyso possibly just causing him a little bit of pain in the speed, as Norman Clark makes a nice move on Tristan Cock this time round. Norman's got the inside line. He's going to try and get it round there. If he can slide it up in front of Tristan, he'll be looking good right here. Can't quite get it up in front of him just yet. Taking that low side again. How's this one going to go?
He's just going to keep it there. So those guys on the outside will be spending some rubber dollars. So 263 won't be able to keep it up there for long, and of course, albeit the tyres are plateaued norm on newer tyres. So he should be able to get this one done here. And he does indeed. Close that out now and head up behind Ben Vickers in the 77 digital, Juice Digital even entry. So they're managing their run at the moment. Jason Martin, meanwhile, back up to P25, just ahead of Riley Curtis and Aidan Schultz. So Norm Clark now trying to get the move done on Ben Vickers as well. He's got a bit of pace in the 09 truck, as Norm. So they should be able to close this one out as well. Made up another position. They come up on some lap traffic. The number 24, Igor Burkic in the 024 entry. Just staying on that high line.
The thing about the 09 at the moment is that truck is very, very clean. There's not a scratch to it, which is good for the sponsorship. You get to see that lovely, lovely sponsorship on there. No favourites played, of course, but we have to say before FGM eCast that the 09 is the best-looking livery out there at the moment.
No bias at all. Josh Mickelmore has pointed out by Josh Carroll Walden in the chat. He's flying up the field. He is indeed doing that. He's up 8 spots now. He's about to get underneath Ben Vickers. He did stop on at lap 28, much fresher tyres than everyone else. Of course, 20 laps in now, but he has got a little more tyre life in the 31 entry than those in front, and he is making good use of that as well.
Yeah, Mickelmore has been he's been hitting a really good, solid result. I mean, we've seen Micklemore in top 3 a couple of times, which, when you're saying top 3 results are not the best results you can have, that tells the calibre of the driver. Micklemore's been having a bit of a rough season, just not been able to get those wins next to his name. So tonight he's going to be hoping for it. Meanwhile, Norman Clark is absolutely flying and getting underneath Paul Jackson. Norman Clark in the 09 getting underneath the 2-3-1 and makes that move stick relatively easy. The yellow Thunder is on its way. Stormin Norman is working his way through the field.
Yeah, he has got Joshua Micklemore, who is going to keep him company as well. He's going to make his way past relatively quickly now. It's a 5-second gap up to Andrew Dyson in P4, so they're going to then have to start to try and close that one down 50 through 100 here.
Now, up at the front, you'll notice that the gap has closed between Ruben Phelps and Dave Douglas. So I'd say the tyre wear has just got to a point where the damage on some of those trucks is not affecting them as much as it was in the early stints. So looks like the trucks with a little bit of damage, they haven't got the short run pace, but when it comes to the longer run, they're still fine. So definitely looking like they've got some good long run pace in them. And they are keeping Ruben Phelps honest at the moment. So we'll see how that one goes throughout the night. We'll see how they continue their march up through the field.
Just getting past Cade Donnelly there, who's a couple of laps down. And this has allowed Luke Traherne to check out a little bit at the front now, so he's half a second to the good over Phelps and Douglas. Dyson about half a second back from this battle, so meanwhile, Schroeder and McLeod. Looks like Schroeder's tyres are just running out of puff as he starts to drop down through the field. McLeod up into P12, up 14 spots. Brad Allison trying to recover from that incident earlier on. Matty Ray up 18 spots just off the back end of this pack, as we can see him there just to the right of the screen with Aaron Hayden. So he's continuing to make his way up with a very, very clean truck, as we come to expect from Mr. Sheen.
Jumping up to P5 with Norman Clark. Oh, caution's just come out at the right or wrong time. I think it's just the wrong time because Josh Micklemore just made it through on Norman. And no, Norman Clark's going to be out front. So Norman Clark just got saved by the yellow there. Josh Micklemore just made the move as that caution came out and got saved. And that is a truck on its roof. That's a big, big accident for one of the Auxier trucks.
Yeah, that was Aidan Schultz. Go back and look at it again. Oh, I was looking at it. Was up sideways, I think, there, and Schultz just had nowhere to go and decided to try and put it in the car park a different way. And that truck is toast. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Lachlan Urquhart. We'll go back a little bit earlier than that.
So got a little bit of help there from Luke Georgeson by the looks of it. Luke Georgeson. Just a little bit of a love tap on the back of Lockie's truck. And that spun him around, and then he got a big snap of oversteer. All of a sudden, that truck gripped up and then went up the hill. He was trying to save it, and then all of a sudden, all the grip in the world came into that vehicle when he didn't want it, and spun him up in front of Aidan Schultz. And then Aidan Schultz has decided that his home planet needs him, and he's had to go off there.
There it is there. So you can see that little tap, and just had nowhere to go. Schultz just in the wrong place at the wrong time and got caught out. If you wonder what the underside of one of these trucks look like, there's a pretty good idea for you. That fencing unbelievably strong. Catch an entire truck.
That's it. And
you can see Scotty there, just nowhere to go either, getting into Lachlan Urquhart in the number 5. So Scotty Griffiths there, his night is over. That truck's going to have a too much damage to the front end, you would suspect, to continue. But what this has allowed is everyone to jump into pit lane, get fresh boots, and Josh Micklemore will bank his progress, so he will retain P4. Fresh tyres, Norm Clark the same in P5, so they will now be able to battle for the lead of the race on equal footing.
Edward Foster just mentioned in the chat, Aidan Schultz doing his best Elio Castroneves impression there of the Spider-Man climbing up the fence. Very, very well done. I think we've got Aidan in the infield care centre. Good evening, Aidan Spider-Man Schultz. Welcome to the booth. Unfortunate to see you here. First of all, are you okay?
I'm good, mate. Got a few band-aids on. I should be right.
Good. Big hit there, obviously. Doing your best Elio Castroneves impression of climbing the fence. Not what you would have wanted, though.
Yeah, that wasn't what started it. It was with another driver earlier driving above their capabilities, I think, and we were 3 wide, which started the downward spiral, shall we say. I was just mind my own business, letting everyone go a lap down there, just trying to get some points, and that's how she ends.
Yeah, that first incident, very, very unfortunate. It was a big incident, taking a lot of trucks out as well. Obviously, you got very unlucky with that one as well, because it sort of just came right in front of your path. The black cat seemed to have been lurking back in your truck again.
Yeah, it just happens, mate. It is what it is. I got the pace to be up there. Just sometimes you have a bad run, and we'll go back out and go again.
Well, that's it. Luck sometimes is the difference maker in motorsport. It's a frustrating thing, and unfortunately, luck's not paid off too well for you tonight. But team-wise, obviously, good pace from you guys tonight. We've seen it with yourself, Ruben, and even Tristan as well. Tristan managing to thread the eye of the needle to get through a couple of those incidents, having a good run up there as well. So you must be pretty happy for the team having a relatively good run so far.
Yeah, happy from a team perspective. We've pretty much podiumed everything we've been in lately outside of ANZCAR. Obviously, ANZCAR's different level, especially even at the trucks now. All the top guys from the Cup are running in that as well. But no, happy to see those guys at the front. Probably could have been where Ruben is fighting for the lead with Luke Traher there, but that's all right. There's always next time. And unfortunate the last couple of rounds after sitting third in the championship, but all good.
Well, that's it. Look, when the luck turns, I've got a feeling that we're going to see you back up here in the booth very, very shortly. Look, hopefully we get to see you again soon, Aidan. Thank you so much for joining us, and keep yourself well, mate.
Hope so. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Cheers, Aidan. Just the unfortunate bystander there. So a couple of instances early on that have wrecked that. Dave Douglas was flashing there in front of Norm Clark as well, so let's hope that isn't a sign of things to come for Double D. We want everyone to finish from here, 57 through 100. We are going to go racing again. It's going to be Ruben Phelps and Luke Traher at the front of the field to take us away on the path towards the end of this race.
Micklemore having an absolute fantastic pit stop, working his way up to P4. So good job from Micklemore. He's really working his way up through the field. And as they say sometimes, it's better to be lucky than good. Really unfortunate for Aidan, because he really has not had the best of luck sometimes. But definitely has had the pace. We are back under green. Luke Traher gets away nice and clean, gets a good jump over Ruben Phelps. Look at Josh Micklemore, though. He is absolutely trying to get up there as well. Micklemore really putting on the pressure. Dave Douglas on the inside. Remember, we saw last time that those trucks with a little bit of damage tended to struggle in the early run, but as soon as it got a little bit later on, they were fine. Will we see the same this time round?
Yeah, Micklemore all over the back of Ruben Phelps there. As Phelps gets down to that low line in front of Dave Douglas. So Micklemore has got some work to do. Be able to just get past these guys, I don't think. Same tyre strategy. I know Dave Douglas got a small amount of damage on the truck there. But Ruben Phelps is clean, as is Luke Traher, so
yeah, quite a few trucks with damage out there, and it's not the easiest night for a lot of people. A bit of a mistake a bit further down for Bradley Allison. I saw he was just on the infield, just got caught up, and that's checked Jason Martin up. Seems like Martin has definitely taken a bit more damage than we first suspected, because he's just unable to get any pace out of the truck. Sounds suspiciously like he may have got some engine damage with that one, because it seems like he's just not got the outright pace, so may have taken a bigger hit to the engine than we first thought.
yeah, indeed. Just not able to make any of that lost ground back up, but of course it'll be a drop round for him, this one. So,
Yeah, one to forget almost.
So it might as well be a bad one if you're going to get rid of it. But Norm Clark is still battling away. He's got Andrew Dyson on his heels. And they're just getting past 274 there, which is a lap car of Luke Georgeson. Not putting up too much of a fight as they continue to battle away for P5.
Looking down the order a little bit, Glenn McLeod doing a good job in the Sender Esports car with the Hobbs Trenching and Boring sponsorship on it, and the Sydney Computers words are failing me. Having a good run up there in P10. He's got Matt Hunter all over the back of him with Aaron Hayden there as well. So after dark, one of their trucks very much taken out of this race. One of their trucks still in it. Matt Hunter, a lot of damage on that truck, but still able to get some pace in there. So good job from Matty Hunter.
Yeah, not too far off either Matty Raymond in the background. So he's got Tristan Cox still trying to battle away with him, and you can see there Finlay just holding out Mike Schroeder at the moment. So there's a couple of trucks with a little bit of damage on the back of them, but still managing to be quick enough to get through it.
Luckily, the back is not too much of an effective area. It's not too bad getting a little bit of damage on the old backside. But meanwhile, up the front, Ruben Phelps is putting a lot of pressure on Luke Traher. Norman Clark putting the pressure on Josh Micklemore as well. So Norman absolutely going for it at the moment, getting the old aggression out and showing what he's made of and getting underneath Josh Micklemore at the moment, forcing Micklemore to take a slightly higher line. He's going to try and push him up there. Andrew Dyson's trying to take advantage of this as well. But good battles going on throughout the field at the moment. Great to see.
Yeah, not giving in. So Ruben Phelps is closing in on Luke Traher though. Up at the front, this gap's dropped down now to 2/10. There's something on Clark might have just dropped the spot there to Andrew Dyson. How having of course as soon as we look away something changes. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah. Dyso was just running that slightly higher line and just got a little bit of an advantage off the corner exit. Just managed to get it up past Norman Clark as he was trying to battle with Josh Micklemore. So Norman's just going to ease back a little bit, wait a couple of moments, and then go back on the attack. Norman has got a little bit of a buffer of Luke Georgeson between himself and Paul Jackson at the moment, so it's not terrible to have a lapped car between yourself and another competitor sometimes, because it gives you that little bit of comfort. So he can just afford to take a couple of laps to take a breather and then go back on the attack. Meanwhile, up towards the front, Ruben Phelps is right underneath the rear spoiler of Luke Traher and is going to get a run down the back straight here. Going to get down the inside in turns 3 and 4. Goes down there very quickly in the Aussie Esports entry. Luke Traher in the after dark truck not able to make it count as Dave Douglas goes into the wall. Big hit for Douglas as he goes skating across the infield. Douglas has managed to save that truck somehow. No, it's spinning. Will he get it back in action? Yes, he does. Dave Douglas somehow managing to save that truck from destruction, but has lost a lot of positions from that one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's got to be thinking about the championship a little bit. Getting it away, but this has meant that Ruben Phelps has taken the lead of this one. Luke Traher now running in second. There's about to be, there's 31 to go in this race, so plenty of opportunity left. Dave dropping out there has meant that Josh Micklemore is now up into third. He's got Andrew Dyson putting pressure on the back of him. Norm Clark has succumbed to Paul Jackson, so Norm down into P6, still up 18 spots, which is a massive effort. Gary Wellman up into 7th, 20 spots gained. So
I think the only good thing for Dave Douglas in that instant was the fact that so many trucks with damage, he only dropped down to about P8 from that mistake. So that could have been a lot more costly if the field was a bit tighter. So he's managed to pull it out just in front of Ben Vickers. So he's not fallen down outside of the top 10 yet. So that's not too bad for him. It could have been much, much worse.
Ben Vickers, though, does make the move on Dave Douglas, so he's dropped another position now, P9. Glenn McLeod looking like he wants to have a crack as well.
like Norman Clark might have used up a little bit too much tyre a little bit too quickly. He's just dropping off a little bit on the pace at the moment. He's just falling behind Paul Jackson. Meanwhile, up the front, the battle is still raging between Trahair and Phelps, and Micklemore and Dyson are just sitting there rubbing their hands together going, look, we're just going to slowly creep up towards this battle. No point racing too hard between us at the moment because we can just catch up to the leaders. If it remains green, we can make it home on fuel, and if we get up into these guys with some relatively comfortable tyres, then we can make the pass and try and battle it out for the win.
Well, they're going to, what do we hit on 54, so...
Yeah, they can make it from here.
Run to the end, run to the end from here, so... That tyre management may be the deciding factor, or will be the deciding factor in this one, who can keep it the longest. Micklemore, just looking like the gap's narrowing. Dave Douglas dropped up another couple of positions there.
Getting a good run on the outside.
Got a caution.
The caution comes out just as he was about to make the move. Michael Schroeder up into the wall, unfortunately. Going back to have a bit of a look at that one. I think it's between Schroeder and Tristan Koch, unfortunately. Just a little bit of contact. Michael Schroeder just drifting up in front of Koch. And that is that, unfortunately. The caution flag flies, and we're going to see a whole load of cars coming into pit lane for some fresh boots.
Lucky that didn't get any bigger. And Schroeder ending up against the wall on the top of the track.
Waits there for the rest of the field to get past for a safe spot to flick turn that thing around and get back to pit lane, which is the best way of doing it. If ever you're caught out in an instant like that, just hold the brakes, because it's much easier for a truck to avoid you than it is for them to second guess and work out how they're going to get past you if you're rolling down the track. So good job on holding the brakes there. We often say it, just hold the brakes. As the trucks come peeling into pit lane. So once again, we're going to get pit stops. And look at Daiso, just absolutely last minute on the brakes there, trying to get every little bit of advantage he can in the pit entry. So this is going to be a really tight one. Are we going to see a few people try and take the right side only? Are we going to see people taking all four tyres? There's a multitude of strategies you can take here. It would be a risky move to take just the rights only, I think, but we might see somebody take that gamble. Let's see how this one pays out. So far, the front runner's taking all four, and it looks like that might be the case for everybody. Josh Micklemore getting a really good stop there, getting away nicely just right on the back of Ruben Phelps. Andrew Dyson gets a much better stop though, and I think just gets out ahead of Josh Micklemore. So Daiso, with that good qualifying spot of P4 as well, has just got a better run out of pit lane, so he's able to get straight on it and just get out instantly, and that's given him the chance to get out in front of Josh Micklemore. So he just manages to get out in front of Micklemore. Was side by side, they were three wide coming out of pit lane, Dyson, Phelps and Micklemore, but I think Daiso just managed to get a nose ahead of Micklemore. Ben Vickers, as I think, has possibly done the right side only, so I'm just going back to look at that one. Yeah, Ben Vickers has just taken the right side only, so he's the one that gambled. I did say somebody might take that risk, and Ben Vickers is the one taking that risk.
Well, we'll see how that plays out for him. He's got Trahair, Phelps, Dyson and Micklemore, who will be keen to fight this one out to the end. That's going to be 25 to go. Ed's a big fan of it. Thinks it might work for him. So let's see how it goes.
Taking a bit of a risk here, but as we've seen, it's more the right side that tends to get a bit of punishment, the left side not so much. And obviously we did about 20 odd laps in that stint. So you know, it's not going to be too harsh on those inside. The left front could be screaming a little bit towards the end of the race, but this could be a good jump up for Ben Vickers.
Well, let's see how this plays out. He's got a clean truck, so that's going to help.
Well, there's a little bit of damage on the right front, so it's It's clean-ish. We'll go with that. One of the cleanest trucks out there, though, for sure, other than the front pack. A lot of trucks with damage on them. When you look through the field, there is barely a straight panel throughout the whole of the entry field of 40 trucks tonight. We've only got 32 trucks running now, so the field has thinned out a little bit. Eagle Burkick, the last of the running trucks. Danny G down in 30th, 4 laps down at the moment.
Well, who do you like from here, Carl? Do you like the gamble? Do you think it's going to pay out? Do you think that Traher or Phelps are going to have too much? Do you think Josh Mickelmore is going to take it through?
I think Ruben Phelps has been pretty racy all night, but honestly, Luke Traher has been mega tonight. It's really been on it. I think Ben Vickers might be walking away with a good top 5 finish, but it depends how he gets away on this start. He's going to have to just get it perfectly, make sure the wheel spin is nicely controlled and get away nicely for this start to work out. If he can get a bit of a lead, he's probably going to start suffering as it comes towards the end of the stint, and that might be where Luke Traher and Ruben Phelps can make a bit of a pounce. Don't discount Daiso and Mickelmore. They have been on fire tonight as well. And look, outside shot, but Matty Ray just sitting down there in P10, just slowly but methodically working his way through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see how this one plays out.
I always think of Matty Ray a bit like the T1000, just quiet, just slowly working his way through. Nothing stops him. Just seems to avoid all the issues and just keeps going no matter what.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. 22 to go when we cross the line to get this one back underway. When will Ben Vickers drop the hammer and get it going?
We'll soon find out for sure.
Just having a look back through. Jamie Budd up 21 positions as well. Is it a nice clean race this week?
Yeah, a few drivers getting some really good positions gained out of this one tonight, and there's some really good runs out there. There's going to be a lot of tales of sorrow and woe, but a lot of joy as well as the pace truck comes in. When does Vickers drop the loud pedal? He's waiting, and away he goes. Ben Vickers gets a fairly good start there. Luke Traher has managed to keep it going as well. He's got to watch out for Ruben Phelps on the inside. Mickelmore's trying to make a move early. Mickelmore can't quite make it done. Ruben covers him off quite quickly. Ruben Phelps is going to get a good run into the corner. Vickers has to come down to cover this, otherwise Phelps is going to get in front of him. Phelps getting a good exit here. Vickers, though, managing to stay in front, just keeping that truck in the middle of the track at the moment, just defending. But Ruben's got the inside line. Those inside tyres just being a little bit better could help him here. Little bit of a wiggle there for Vickers. Just manages to catch the slide nicely. They're side by side as they cross the start-finish line. It is Vickers in the lead at the moment, but Phelps is going to take that shortly. Luke Traher drops down to that inside line. He can see the writing on the wall already and has decided to get down on the inside quickly. Vickers is trying his best to defend as much as he can. Look at Daiso as well. Dyson is putting his nose up there. He's deciding he's going to try and take advantage of this as well. Vickers is just got to try and defend right here. He comes down to try and stop Daiso making the move, but Dyson's got the inside here. Traher is past Dyson side by side, very close as they get across the tri-oval, and the caution is out once more.
It looks like Riley Curtis has had an issue there. Just might have got up into the wall.
So Riley just got a little bit of a tap from the 486, I think.
Yeah, it's Jay Brazier there, just a little clip.
Bit hard to see what truck that was because the page has basically gone from that thing. Just that little tap and up he goes, and that is the caution. That worked out very well for Ben Vickers because Dyson was about to make that move.
So 19 to go. It's got no one in from this point. Didn't run long enough.
So, Stuart.
Oh dear.
Oh, I love the dread in your voice. It's great. Nashville's Centennial Park is the home to the only replica of what ancient structure? The Nashville Centennial Park.
Not a clue.
Any guesses? It's a full-size replica of said thing. It has the largest sculpture in the Western Hemisphere at 42 feet high.
I have no idea. The Statue of Liberty.
No, we're talking more ancient than that. It's an ancient Greek item. It's an actual replica of the Parthenon.
Right. Right, yeah, well, I mean, I can understand why you'd want to build one of those down in Nashville, of course.
Of course. I mean, it's an important item to have in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, you know, you do need a replica of the Parthenon with a massive statue of, I think it's Athena in there, I'm pretty sure. So, obviously, I mean, America very much into their ancient Greek culture. So, what else would we have?
Basically the same two countries, from what I've heard.
Exactly.
So there you go. It was in the Percy Jackson film. JCW's just popped in. I haven't seen that as well, JCW, so that doesn't help me either.
What monster was he fighting in the Parthenon?
I have no idea. See, at least when they were motorsport questions, I had some sort of chance and some sort of interest in it. But I mean, you know, it could have been about music, given that we're in Nashville. But no, you've gone with.
I don't want to make it too easy because you do some research.
Structure that somebody decided was a good idea to build down there. An ode to Greece in the middle of bloody Nashville. Anyway.
Okay, well, who has the most wins at Nashville Super Speedway in the IndyCar series?
That doesn't help me much either. Anyone in the crowd?
I believe he's from this side of the planet.
Right.
He's pretty good in the old IndyCar.
Luke Powell.
Who the hell is Luke Powell?
I don't know, I'm just making names up now.
Scotty Dixon.
Alright.
You said you'd have a shot with motorsport questions. Here I go, trying to give you a chance.
I said I'd have a shot. I didn't say I'd get it right.
Disgraceful. See, JCW knows.
Yes, he did. No, he's on it.
He is. He still hasn't answered the question of what mythical creature was being fought in the Parthenon, but I'll let him off that one.
It could be a baseball, JCW. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. So, as the season gets towards its close, the quiz just continues to get stranger and stranger.
Oh, don't worry, we're going to Monza tomorrow, so I have plenty of motorsport questions about that.
Yes, and that's perfectly fine. At least they may be Formula One or otherwise related.
Maybe Grand Prix related.
Well, that's fine.
Maybe pre-war, but you know.
Well, that might hurt a little bit, but we'll see. As long as it's Formula One, or even to a limited extent GT racing, they won't have that much at Monza. So, anyway, the lights are out. We're heading around for our hopefully final lap behind the pace truck. ACW just popped in with a three-headed dragon, by the way. I think is that the triple-headed Hydra?
It is indeed the Hydra.
There you go. So this will help Vickers a little.
This will give him a little bit of an opportunity here. Ruben Phelps, though, is going to get the restart here, and he's going to just try and get the edge over Luke Trahell. We've seen Luke having a really good run tonight. How is it going to go? Ozia versus Nycol. don't discount DPR, Mitch Motorsport and Juice Digital behind him, but Ruben Phelps gets a fantastic start there, pulls a nice gap from Luke Trahair. Meanwhile, Ben Vickers manages to keep that spot for the moment, but watch Dyson, he's going to try for that outside line. Ben Vickers moving up a little bit to try and defend, and that could give Josh Micklemore the opportunity to get down on the inside line. They could go 3 wide here, and they do indeed. Micklemore going down to the inside line, 3 wide into the corner, and Micklemore's going to get the pass done, gets underneath Ben Vickers, and Micklemore is going to be sitting behind Dyson now. So the battle continues. A huge incident there. That is a big one for. That's a huge one for Glenn McLeod. Glenn McLeod is he is off to his home planet. He has been launched into space. That car will be back eventually.
That was netcode. Unfortunately, there we'll go back and have a look at it again and just slow it right down. You can see there's a huge gap between the two cars, and unless he's lost it himself on the restart, and maybe
I think there's netcode, and then watch after this incident, because when he lands, it doesn't go too well for him, unfortunately, because I think somebody else may have just got underneath him, and I think that might be one of the SRM cars, and launches him up once more.
Crikey. The flag marshal would have been fearing for his life then.
I really hope Glenn does not use VR, because if he does, he is going to be he's going to be feeling rather sick after that one.
It is a big hit. Right. There you go. He's finally back on all fours.
Took a while. Let's see.
Yeah, no doubt. Not surprised that he jumped into pit lane. Gary Woolman's going to have to do the same. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of damage to that truck. That is going to be terminal, you would think.
I'd say watch from Mick Taylor's point of view. He luckily does not look like he's got any damage from that. Possibly a little scrape to the roof of the SRM, but yeah, that was a rather big moment there.
Just starting to jump on board with him.
So I watch this view
Set
from
the
Mick
car
Taylor.
right there.
And
Wow.
bounces off the roof of Mick Taylor. They build the roofs strong for SRM, and good job on whoever made that windscreen.
Didn't even flinch.
That's definitely truck-proof glass that's built onto that truck.
Well, Ruben Phelps is going to have to do it all again. Andrew Dyson, Josh Micklemore, however, have moved up now, so it is a mixed front 2 rows. Was there Nightcall, DPR, and Mitch Motorsport. We've got Juice Digital and the ANZCAR boys as well in P6. In fact, we've got all different teams filling out our top 10 positions. This is fantastic to see.
We have. There's a lot of different teams up there, and that's great to see.
Absolutely.
What we always love to see. So, more of a question to the audience than for you, Stuart, because I know this will be a tricky one. But the first Xfinity Series race here, the Pepsi 300 back in 2001, who was the winning driver? Let's see if the audience can get this one. Let's see who can Google the quickest. I mean, who actually knows the answer. Matty Ray making his way up 27 positions at the moment. Good run from him. Aaron Hayden up in P9, as I said. Could be a good night for After Dark, and they're having a good run at the moment, so they're going to hope this one continues. Christopher Finley up in 10th with Brent Hobbs as well. 25 positions gained so far, biggest gainer of the race. Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch, no, neither of those two.
So if Ed doesn't get it and JCW don't know, then there's little chance I would have had any clue.
as I said, I was not being too harsh on you. I'll ask the audience this one because I thought that would be much more fair.
Mark Martin, perhaps?
No, it was not. I will put the crowd out of their misery. It was Greg Biffle. It was the Biff himself.
There you go. Okay, Steve jumps in. He's looking after Ruben's interest. Reckons Ruben might get this one across the line.
Well, we don't want to jinx poor Ruben too much. It's one of those things. Commentating, you don't want to talk too much, but Ruben's still yet to get that first win in ANZCAR, so he's going to be desperate to try and get this one back and get this one for the win. Luke Trahair is desperately trying to get another win. It's been a long dry spell for Luke Trahair. We haven't seen him up on the top step of the podium for a long time. Could he manage to break that duck tonight? But it's going to be a battle between these cars, and watch out for Josh Mickelmore because we know that he is quick, and he has been quick on those restarts. We've got a 9-lap shootout coming for us, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious here at Nashville. Music City is going to bring music to our ears as we get a fantastic cacophony of noise on this restart.
Yeah, and Ruben Phelps gets away quickly. Trahair gets a good jump as well. He's going to close down the inside ahead of Andrew Dyson. Josh Mickelmore is going to see where he can position the 31 entry. Just got to settle in behind Dyson for the minute, and in the background there you've got two wide with Matty Ray and Ben Vickers. Paul Jackson coming through quickly as well. Norm Clark's got a bit of pace on him as well. He's trying to push down on the inside to go 3 wide as he can't quite get there as Matty Ray closes that door, but Paul Jackson's up in front of him and it is on here. Ben Vickers on the outside, Matty Ray down underneath. In the background there you can just see that Christopher Finlay and Aaron Hayden just getting into it, as well as up at the front. Ruben Phelps just breaks away ever so slightly.
Yeah, Phelps getting a good little bit of a jump on that restart over Luke Trahair. Luke's going to get a little bit of that draft to help him along soon. Daiso just struggling a little bit for that early run pace again, and we've seen that with some of those trucks with that little bit of damage on the vehicle, that they've just struggled on the first couple of laps, and then it comes back to them after about lap 5 to 6, but he's not quite making it there. The big battle at the moment is down with Matty Ray, Norman Clark and Ben Vickers. Norman Clark going down the inside to take it 3 wide. Matty Raymond decides to close that door, stop Storm and Norman from getting his way through the field, but he has managed to get it past Ben Vickers. Aaron Hayden as well, trying to work his way up in the After Dark car, trying to see if he can make that move. Oh, as we got contact, Matty Hunter and somebody else. Matty Hunter's going to go flying up the field and avoids contact just about. The caution flag is out. Very, very close for one of the SRM cars there to avoid an issue. I'd say watch that one from Noddy Tompkins' point of view, because he just he needs to go out and buy a lottery ticket, because that was almost a complete wreck there. Matty Hunter though getting caught up in that one. Just going back to see exactly what happened. So Matty Hunter and Nicholas Tamoras just getting into each other there. So just a little bit of contact. Looks like Tamoras has just got a big run on Matty Hunter and just got a little bit wobbly up the inside. And then you'll soon see flying Matty Hunter coming up and just skipping it past Noddy there. That was pure luck there.
Look at this from Matty Hunter, yeah, he's just sliding up there. Just that very, very thin margin between glory and failure, I should say, for Noddy. I'll be happy, but Matty Hunter won't. So he heads down into pit lane. So it's going to be a very much a shootout to the conclusion of this one. There'll be 3 to go.
Indeed. Just looking back, championship leader Jason Martin just having a connectivity issue possibly. He's dropped down to 27th place and he's a couple of laps down now. 4 laps down behind his teammate Danny G. He's in company of Kay Donnelly, so all 3 of those cars on the same lap at the moment. Going to be fighting it out to see who can get up to possibly 25th in this race. But we've had a lot of attrition so far tonight, a lot of trucks out of this race and a lot of damage out there tonight. But up the front, there are 2 clean trucks. There is the Nightcall Racing of Luke Traher and the Aussie Esports of Ruben Phelps. As we heard from Aidan Schultz earlier, Aussie has been on a bit of a charge recently, taking out a glut of victories in some other series. They've been having a fantastic run of results recently, looking out the top of the field. But in ANZCAR, it's been a bit of a dry spell. They've not managed to get that W next to their name. Could tonight be the night? But trying to take that away from them is going to be Andrew Dyson, Josh Micklemore as well. Watch out for them. Keep an eye for Matty Ray as well in the 83. That truck is as clean as a whistle with Norman Clark behind him. We've seen a different Norman Clark from normal, a bit more aggressive and fighting a little bit more for positions and trying to get his way up there. So those guys could be on for a bit of a charge towards the late stages of this race. It's going to be a charge to the checkered flag. Who is going to get the win tonight?
Yeah, well, let's see. This is very, very much an open book here. Can't forget to mention Paul Jackson as well. He's in with a fighting chance. Dave Douglas championship-wise in 11th. So he's not going to have made up as much as he wanted to over Jason Martin, championship leader. Alright, going to go around one more lap before we'll go green for the run to the finish, hopefully.
Yeah, they're going to go round and, well, Dave Douglas will be hoping to get a few positions. He's currently sitting down in P11. If he can get up into the top 5, he'll be pretty happy with that, I'm sure, because Douglas needs to get a fair few points to get a bit of an advantage over Jason Martin, because Jason Martin has got a fantastic lead in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, with the attrition, we've seen the drop rounds as well, still to come into play. Could have been a lot worse for Martin.
Look, that's it. Even on a bad night, Martin, it doesn't go too badly for Martin. Luke Traher just letting Ruben Phelps know that he's sitting there on his outside at the moment, just getting nice and close there. You can just about squeeze a cigarette paper between those 2 cars. And Josh Micklemore is just sitting back there watching this going on, and he's thinking about what he can do. He's thinking about what he can do to get into the lead of this race, as it's going to be an absolute shootout here. They're getting ready to start. Ruben Phelps is waiting for it. When's he going to drop the pedal? He drops it now. Gets another good start for Ruben Phelps. Gets away nice and clean. Dyson tries to make it down the inside, and Luke Traher has to defend. Traher moves it down to keep Dyson behind at the moment, but Ruben Phelps leads ahead of Traher and Dyson. Josh Micklemore in 4th position. 5th is Maddie Raymond. 6th, Paul Jackson. 7th, Norman Clark. Aaron Hayden, 8th. 9th, Finley. Brent Hobbs in P10 at the moment. Maddie Ray moving his way up slightly as well. So the battle is very much on. It is going to be a shootout here. The white flag will be flying soon. Who is going to take this one out?
We're going to stay very firmly focused at the front here with our front 3 drivers. Luke Traher looking for a way around with the white flag coming out. He ducks down onto the inside. Phelps just gets down to block that route for him. So he's running out of time. Traher Dyson gets a good run out of the corner here. He ducks down underneath the 43 to see if he can get a run on. He's got it up the inside there of Luke Traher, so he's going to move up into 2nd position here as they come around the last 2 corners. It looks like Phelps is probably going to be the one to take this out. Dyson gets across in front, hits the wall. He's got there though. He's going to get it across the line. Oh, just gets there.
It's going to be so close between those two. A little bit of bump. But Josh Micklemore, I think, may have got 2nd place there in the end. It was a photo finish, but I think Micklemore may have just done that one. No, he just misses out. Yeah. So close there between those drivers. It was very much almost a moment for Micklemore to just go sliding his way up there. Dyson takes out P2, Luke Traher 3rd, but Ruben Phelps takes his first victory in the ANZCAR series. Aussie Esports finally claims a win in ANZCAR, and he's going to be super happy about that one.
just ducks down and collects someone on their way into pit lane. So the Azia Esports entry is going to require some repairs now.
Matty Ray is going to have to get some extra cut and polish now because he's got some damage on that truck. 29 positions gained for Matty Ray. Brent Hobbs gained 26 positions. Really good run from them. Brent Hobbs up in P10. So let's run through the finishing order. So Ruben Phelps takes out the win. Andrew Dyson second. Luke Trahair third. Fourth for Josh Micklemore. Fifth for Matty Ray. Paul Jackson comes home in sixth after a really, really strong run. Seventh for Norman Clark. Very aggressive run, but made it work. Norman Clark having a fantastic run, 17 positions gained. Aaron Hayden for After Dark coming home in P8, another top 10 for that team. Christopher Finlay coming home in P9, starting P20, and Brent Hobbs coming home in P10, starting from 36. Fantastic job from all of the drivers.
Yeah, certainly a mixed bag out of tonight, and some great racing there as well at the end from Phelps, Dyson, and Trahair, Josh Micklemore as well. So a really, really close finish. But Phelpsy taking out the first win in the trucks for his team as well. So he'll be absolutely pumped. We're just waiting for the drivers to jump into the booth for a quick post-race interview. Just a reminder, we're back tomorrow night from 7:20 with the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. We've got the first of the Enduro round at Monza, as Carl alluded to a little earlier on. So do jump back and join us for that. If you have joined us tonight so far, a big, if you can, thumbs up on the like button and a follow we would certainly appreciate. So if you can extend yourselves to doing that, it would go a long way to help our channel.
A good bump and run there at the end. Almost worked. Almost took both of them out, though, and gave Micklemore the chance. So, fun there at the end, though, and look, some really good racing throughout the race there. But look, Ruben Phelps just absolutely having a fantastic result. And as I said, taking out first victory in the ANZCAR series. It's been a long time coming. We said that Ruben would be getting up onto the top spot of the step eventually, and we thought it might be coming a little bit earlier. Ruben had a really strong start to the season, went down a little bit, but it's coming back up to form now, and the Ozia Esports team have definitely been coming on leaps and bounds too. That paint job obviously helping them a little bit too.
We've just got everyone into the booth, Carl, so take it away.
So we will start off traditionally with our third place finisher. Almost did not get P3 at the end there. Very, very close. A little bit of bump and run, a little bit of trying his best to get that P2. Almost cost him dearly, dropped him down to P4 as Micklemore was right on the tail. Luke Trahair, fantastic race from yourself. Good run up there. That didn't look like an easy one.
No, it was I don't mind it here. It's a pretty fun little track, but yeah, I cost myself at the end there with the exit on two. I went in a bit too deep, I think, and as soon as I overshot it, I knew Dice would jump up the inside, which I expected he'd probably get the run on me anyway. So, and then yeah, just coming out of four, just sort of trying to hold sort of my position, and we just sort of came together. But it is what it is, man. I'm not fussed, not stressed. It was a good fun race.
Well, it didn't end up costing you, which is the main thing. Obviously, the mistake on the start of the lap did. He dropped you down to P3, but a P3 is still a decent finish. It looked like you had a very strong race out there as well, constantly battling for the lead. Did you have much to fight Ruben with towards the end, or were you just struggling to get past him?
It's more just like it's the same old shit with me. Like I'm not really a sort of a short run guy. Like I do prefer the long runs, and I think if the sort of the laps came off and the green sort of stayed out, I would have had Ruben by the end of it, just saving my tyres better. But the yellows kept coming back out. We kept getting the yellows, and you know you're damn near close to wide open on fresh tyres here some of the time. So credit to Ruben though, awesome bloody race for sure. But yeah, no, he would have held me off.
No, look, it was a good, fun race to watch at the front. Unfortunately, those cautions didn't help out too much, but luckily you guys avoided most of pretty much all of the nasty action. So well done for that. Good to have you back up here in the booth as well. It's been a little bit of time since we last got to chat to you, but congratulations on that P3. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the sponsor side of things goes, just a shout out for my truck, obviously just my brand for the Way Down. So if anyone's that are listening or into mixed martial arts or anything like that, check out my Facebook and Instagram at the Way Down. Just something I'm sort of get up and running. Eternal MMA that I now write for. If anyone's into local mixed martial arts, check out Eternal MMA because I'm a blog writer for those guys now and like to shine a light on those dudes. And just final shout outs to Judy, PG and Goose. You boys know who you are.
Thank you so much, Luke. Congratulations on the P3. Good to have you back up here in the booth. Hopefully we'll get to see you before the year's out.
Shout out to you guys as well, obviously, for the broadcast, ANZCAR and Daiso and Phelpsy. Good win and good P2, boys. Well done.
So much. Next up, we will head up to P2. The DPR entered Phoenix Smoker. Smoked most of the field tonight, but could not quite make it to the front. Andrew Dyson, congratulations on that P2.
Yeah, thanks, man. Don't about smoking, everybody. I just kind of avoided my way through a few wrecks and was very lucky to not have some damage, so that worked out pretty good.
Well, I have to try and work a pun in there somehow. You know this. Yeah. It's part of the job. Obviously, it was a bit of a tough one out there. I mean, you had to make some avoiding action. We saw you get a little bit of damage to the front right of the truck. It wasn't the easiest race, especially if you were caught down in the mid-pack.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like one of those wrecks there. There was a car completely sideways coming out of two, and I reckon that took out quite a few blokes, that one. So it would have been pretty hard going if you were back there amongst it. But luckily I was close enough to the front. Even with a messed up pit stop there, I still managed to stay far enough up there. It was good to see a few other blokes having a bit of a, what would you call it, a bit of a gamble on some two-tyre stops and no tyre stops, or no stops, I should say, not stopping at all. But so, yeah, that was interesting. It was good.
Yeah, obviously a bit of mix of strategies out there did change things up. And, having to race those guys that sort of decided to not take tyres, did that affect you much getting caught behind them?
No, not really. You just kind of got to bide your time and go through the motions until they kind of wobble away. It's just one of those sorts of situations, really. And it was like when I was at the front, I was just wobbling around and folks are trying to get past, and I'm just doing my best just to hang on. Same thing. So I knew what was going on.
We saw you had a great run towards the end there, just on that final lap. You had that great run on Luke. Do you feel like you could have done anything to get close to Ruben, or was that a bit out of grasp for yourself?
Not really, man. Like once you put a move on one car around here, it can take a couple laps to kind of make that happen unless something happens in front of you. And then obviously from that point onwards, you've then got to work a few more laps just to gain that little bit of a gap, and then work a few more laps to try and get a move happening. And it takes time, man. So all those cautions basically meant that, it was going to be very hard to make up any spots at all with the way it was playing out. So, but I mean, that's the way it goes in the trucks. It's for all the new guys to roll up, and that of which there is plenty of them. So good to see. Hopefully they're all learning because they're wrecking a lot. But no, it's good to see a lot of new guys coming in, and it should be good for next year for sure.
Yeah, some new fast guys coming in tonight as well, which is great to see. Look, congratulations on the P2. Well done for managing to fend off a very fast-charging Micklemore and manage to slide your way up there and get onto the top three as well. Before I let you go, the usual thing of shout-out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's good race to all the boys out there tonight. Ruben, Josh, who else we had? Luke, obviously. Plenty of other dudes out there. Strider up there having a dip for a while. I think it might have been who else was it? Vickers. He was having a dip. Good stuff, boys. Thanks to all the boys on the car, Phoenix Smokers, Sevings.com, all those mad dogs that get around us. Shout out to the BMX Bandits. Who else can I shout out to? FGME Cast, ANZCAR, all the big dogs that get amongst ANZCAR. Love it. See you next week.
Thank you so much, Daiso. Pleasure to have you up here, and I'm sure we'll catch you back up in the booth soon.
No worries. See you guys.
And finally, it's been a long time coming. We said it was bound to happen soon, but finally it has. Ruben Phelps, congratulations on your first ANZCAR victory.
Thank you. No, it's been a long time coming, or it's been a hectic entry into the series, and finally broke one out.
Well, they say the Kiwi bird can't fly, but you proved them wrong tonight because you flew to the finish and flew to a victory. Well done with that one.
Yeah, well, it definitely helps when a few casualties throughout the race. There was plenty of them, so that took a few of the contenders out, which makes a difference. But No, it was definitely a top 5 car for the majority of that race, which obviously turned out to, as soon as you get track position, is really, really vital to make sure you've actually got that. And at the end there, I was literally sweating, honestly, because I didn't mind the yellow so much, but I made a couple of vital passing moves that made a big difference, and then I came in that pit stop before those yellows came out, and I lost it to Luke. But I was actually going to say thank you, Ben Vickers, for choosing a new strategy, because when I started third, there was like, oh, I'm going to get track position, I'm going to get ahead of Luke, and that's what basically gave me the lead, and I could restart and stay there, which was also good. But also I can't go wrong about my driving. The driving was spot on tonight. It's probably the best drives I've had in ANZCAR at all costs there.
No, absolutely, a really well driven race, and it was a smartly driven race as well. That's the other thing. You drove smart, if not faster. You drove smart as well. You had some really good pace added to it, obviously, but you managed to keep the car in the right position at the right time and avoid some of those big impacts as well.
Oh yeah, there was when I saw there's a couple of drivers that I know that was up there, and I just knew there was just, I don't know about this, and unfortunately I think it was lap 20 something when that first big crash happened, and that took a lot of the guys out there. I just had a feeling that was coming, and I just sort of made sure I got past, and unfortunately Aiden got caught up in it. But it was actually it's a bit crazy lately when it comes to the incidents, but I suppose, like you said, this is the starter series when it comes to ANZCAR, so we all got to learn somewhere. And I thought, haven't been running the cup as of late, but that's because I'm just trying to get back into a sort of, I don't want to try and go out too hard too early, so I thought, well, wind up slowly and just get racing in other series at the moment, and then come back stronger and better next year with a better mentality.
Well, it's working out for you because, obviously you've had some really good success recently with the team, and a bit of growth for the team as well. Things are definitely growing, and obviously, it's a big moment for Ozia as well, getting that first victory in ANZCAR. Oh,
for sure, and we've got another couple of announcements soon. Hopefully, it's growing. Definitely, you're right there. So, going to be new look and a new couple of drivers on top of that. So that won't be until next year at least. But at the moment, we're definitely working together really well, and it's definitely paying off.
Look, congratulations. Great job for yourself, for the team. But as I say, especially for you, getting that first victory. It's been a long time coming. We suspected it would have come, maybe, I'm not saying it's to be sort of, say it's to be mean, but we thought it might come a little bit earlier because you've been very much up there and fighting. But it is definitely a worthy victory because you've looked like you've been knocking at that winning spot for a long, long time. So congratulations on getting the first one. Now that first one's over and done with, I'm sure the rest will come easier.
Yeah, I think it's that situation is like, you've got plenty of opportunities to win, but as soon as you get it, that first win, it gives you a lot of confidence, and it just, from there on out, you just know that you can continue that streak. So that when, especially the first round here, I was obviously leading that race, and then I put myself in the pack and then got caught in wrecks, and then I was up the front for race 2 and then put myself back in the pack and then get caught out in a wreck again. It's a consistent situation. So now when you're actually at the front, you realize maybe I shouldn't go back there, and just keep yourself safe for a while. Even if you are on slightly older tyres, it's just you might as well be out in the track position and out of the trouble rather than bloody having to try and pass everybody.
And that's it, and it paid off very well tonight. Congratulations, Ruben Phelps. Before I let you go, please give a big shout out to the team, the sponsors, to everybody else out there.
I've got to shout out, obviously, Aussie Esports. That's Aiden, Tristan, and our new driver, Brett Campbell, and of course, there's also Aiden's girl was also part of the team, but she'll be doing some ladies races at some point, hopefully once she gets her own rig. But also got a couple of announcements again, like I said, so we'll let everybody know about those once that's all organised. And you guys for the broadcast, and good, had a good battle with you, Luke. That was fun. And of course, ANZCAR.
Hey, always welcome, Ruben. Congratulations. And of course, you can check out those announcements at Australia Esports on Facebook. So make sure to go over and give them a like so make sure you catch all the news and things on that aspect. But good to have you back. Good to get you back up here, Ruben, and congratulations on that win.
Cheers, thank you.
So, Stuart, we have another race under the belt, done and dusted. Nashville has sung its song tonight, and we have another new winner to the ANZCAR series.
Yeah, fantastic, and good to see such a mixture of drivers up inside the top 10 as well. So another ripping race in this season that's rapidly coming to its conclusion. So we look forward to next Monday night getting back into this one. But tomorrow night we head to Monza, and we look forward to the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series coming to you live from 7:20 tomorrow night. From Carl with you, myself, that is it for our Monday, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on the stream from wherever you are from FGM eCast, your E place for pace. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we will see you then.